Welcome back to my podcast. Today I will be talking about abuse of power and why people abuse their power. I believe that in society, when someone gets even a little bit of power over somebody else, they will abuse that power. This issue bothers me greatly because it isn't fair to the people that are affected by the people in power's decisions. There are many examples of abuse of power in literature, and even though these novels are fiction, they are great reflections of society today. The book Lord of the Flies shows how people abuse power to manipulate others around them. The book is about how some boys got stranded on an island without anything to survive, and they need to work together if they want to survive and eventually get off the island. Although it would be beneficial for all the boys to work together, there is a conflict within the boys leading to a struggle for power. One of the boys, Jack, eventually breaks off from the group to form his own tribe so he can have power. He ends up manipulating the other boys to join his group and uses fear and his power to get what he wants. Jack uses his power to get what he wants, and he ends up ordering all the other boys to hunt down and kill Ralph, who was the last member and leader of the original tribe. Lord of the Flies shows that people abuse their power so they can get what they want despite it being morally wrong. Another novel that has the topic of power is 1984. Although this book is more about power within the government instead of leaders of smaller groups, it still depicts power in an abusive way. The government in 1984 uses their power in a similar method to how Jack uses his power in Lord of the Flies. They both manipulate and try to have total control over their tribe or their citizens. The government also uses fear to control the people. They will kill you even if they have the smallest inkling of an idea that you might be a traitor. They also use their power to spread false information or propaganda throughout the people. They will lie about what happened in the past and say that people today have a better life than in the past. The government also spies on the citizens through telescreens so they know exactly what they are doing. The government uses their power to put fear into the citizens and manipulate and control them to do what they want, and if they disobey them in the slightest, they will be killed. In the short story The Lottery, power is shown in a different way from Lord of the Flies in 1984. While 1984 and Lord of the Flies is more about controlling the people you have power over, The Lottery is more about short-term power. The Lottery shows more of a collective power over one person rather than the government or one person having power over everyone else. The reason the town continues their tradition of the lottery each year is because they crave power, so they go to the extreme each year in stoning someone to death. The fact that these townspeople keep this tradition for the sole purpose of having power over someone else for only a brief moment is sickening to me. There are also many examples of abuse of power today, one being the current war that is going on in Ukraine. CNN claims that one of the reasons the war is happening in Ukraine is because Putin wanted to bring Ukraine back into Russia's sphere. This shows that Putin just wanted to use his power to get what he wanted, and it ended in all-out war. Putin is also using fear just like in 1984 and Lord of the Flies. He is using fear by arresting protesters and anyone that disagrees with him or the war. This is very similar to the events in 1984, but instead of killing the citizens, Putin just puts them in jail. Abuse of power is a troubling issue to me, and it needs to end. The fact that people end up dying because of their leaders' desires is very sorrowful. We as a society can learn from these events and pieces of literature to do better, and when someone is abusing their power, we can call them out on it and make sure it does not happen again.